All right, fun little trivia fact of the night. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing a 13-game preview. Then I'm going to jump on the treadmill. And then tomorrow, I'm going to try to squeeze it in. I have to do it every day. There's no day that, because if I don't do it on any given day, I know what happens. Then it turns into, I'm fine. I don't need to worry. And then before you know it, it's collecting cobwebs in the corner. So, as tired as I am from last night, and as late as it's going to be when this is uploaded, and it's all edited together, I just mean making sure that the ad breaks are where they should be. Then I get to go on the treadmill for about 40 minutes. So yeah, there you go. We're going to have a couple early games tomorrow, starting with this one at 1 o'clock Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, meaning I got to be up early to watch some hockey as well. LA, 15, 18, and 4 overall in their last 10. They're 4, 4, and 2. On the road, they're 5, 12, and 3. And as scary as that road record is, it's actually getting better. It's been better over the last little while than what it was. They're in against Buffalo, who were 16, 13, and 7. Over their last 10, they're 4, 3, and 3. And at home, they're 10, 3, and 3. Buffalo's been kind of all over the map. Now they're coming off that 6-1 loss. Eichel was day-to-day. I assume he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. Seeing that 6-1 loss is probably going to have the team going, so, Jack, you can play, right? Unless you're missing a leg, you might want to get out there. Anyways, scoring leaders for LA. Kopitar, 14 goals, 18 assists for 32 points. Toffoli, 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points. Those are your top two forwards. Prohorkin's an interesting stat in that he's played 17 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. He's been really useful for them. So when people talk about, so they got rid of Kovalchuk, why? Prohorkin's part of the reason why. He's been excellent since Kovalchuk went away. On the blue line, their leader is Doughty with 6 goals, 17 assists, and Walker's notable at 4 goals and 10 assists, a guy who wasn't expected to do a whole lot this year. In net, Campbell, 893 save percentage. Quick also has an 893 save percentage. They've both been better lately than those save percentages would let on. On the Buffalo side, Eichel, 24 goals, 26 assists for 50 points. Olofsson, 15 goals, 18 assists for 33 points. Those are their top two forwards. Sherry, 5 goals, 5 assists. He's prominent when he's out there. I'm surprised he doesn't have more points, to be completely honest. Useful forward. I'm really surprised he doesn't have more points. Dahlin is their leading scoring defenseman. 2 goals, 19 assists. Yoki Haru has fit right in. 3 goals, 7 assists. Not the offensive dynamo you might have thought he would be, but you know what? He's still been a useful defenseman for Buffalo. Goaltenders, Ullmark, 913 save percentage. He has been the much better of the two. Hutton's save percentage is down to 894. And I think Ullmark's going to get the lion's share of games from here. I would be very surprised if he doesn't play tomorrow, even though LA is further down the standings than a lot of teams. But don't let that fool you. They've been better lately. Moving along. Anaheim and the Islanders. This one starts at 10 a.m. my time, 1 o'clock Eastern as well. The Ducks have fallen completely out of contention. They're 14, 17, and 4. They're actually 2 points behind the LA Kings now, showing just how far they've fallen and that the LA Kings are getting better. Over their last 10, they're 3, 6, and 1, and on the road, they're 5, 10, and 2. So the Ducks are not much better on the road at all than the Kings, and that's a problem. The Islanders, 23, 8, and 2 overall. They're 7 and 3 in their last 10, and at home, they're 13, 3, and 1. This could be an ugly one. I'm going to be completely honest. This is one that to me feels like the Islanders should just go out there and probably mow them right down. Leading scorers for the Ducks, Raquel and Getzlaf both have 10 goals and 15 assists for 25 points. Kasha stands out as a guy with 3 goals and 10 assists. Despite missing some games with injury, the 3 goals is still surprising. Leading scoring defenseman, Fowler with 6 goals and 11 assists. Lindholm with a goal and 14 assists, having got his first goal in the last week or so. Maybe we'll start seeing more goals from him. Goaltending has been average. Gibson, 910 save percentage. Miller, 904. Neither of them playing as well as they did early last year, and it's showing in the results too for the Ducks. On the New York Islanders side of things, Barzal, 14 goals, 14 assists. Nelson, 12 goals, 14 assists. Clutterbuck, 3 goals and 4 assists. Stands out in that he's a very physical forward, and I think he's an excellent, underrated player for the New York Islanders. Pulock, 4 goals, 12 assists, leads their blue liners. Boychuk with 2 goals, 7 assists. We'll see if he can keep up the recent solid offensive play he's been showing. Goaltenders, it don't matter who's in net. Varlamov, 923 save percentage. Grice, 924 save percentage. Pick him. So it doesn't matter, and they just rotate, and this is why Barry Trotz just rotates. It doesn't matter who's in net. They're very, very likely to get an excellent goaltending overall performance, regardless of who's in there. All right, moving along. And we're up to the game that starts an hour later. So at 11 o'clock a.m. my time, 2 o'clock Pacific, or 2 o'clock Eastern, I should say. So if you're in Europe, these are the 3 games you get to watch that without staying up till the middle of the night. And it's Winnipeg in against Minnesota. So for my wife, she'll be watching this game because it's fun for her because whoever wins, wins. Although she is favoring the Jets. The Jets are 20-13-2, and they've got to dust themselves off from their recent performance. 5-4-1 in their last 10. On the road, they're 10-6-1. They're better on the road, I think, than they are at home, to be honest. Now, Minnesota's much better at home than they are on the road. They're 17-14-5 overall. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They're 9-1-3 at home. It's quite the record at home. Only 1 regulation loss. Leading scorers for Winnipeg. Try to act surprised when I tell you Scheifele's their leading scorer in Winnipeg. 16 goals, 20 assists for him. Laine, 11 goals, 21 assists for 32 points. Just think if Laine was not putting up assists, if he had like 11 goals and say like 6 assists, 17 points, we would be all over him. Those 21 assists help, and it's nice to see his game rounding out. Perreault, 6 goals, 6 assists, stands out to me as a guy that I would think would have more. And he's missed some games, but I would expect more from him. Morrissey and Pionk both have 3 goals and 17 assists to lead their defensemen in scoring. Goaltenders, Clutterbuck? He's not a goaltender. Hellebuck. It's a buck. Buck. Okay, I better watch myself. I'm tired and things can change. Hellebuck, 924 save percentage. I don't want to have to do another take. Brossoit, 890 save percentage. And Comrie, 864. I know that's not with Winnipeg, but technically he's Winnipeg's property, so it's worthy of note they got 3 goaltenders right there. Minnesota, Stahl, 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. I know he's in the minors. It's fine. 13 goals, 17 assists for Stahl, 30 points overall. Zucker, who of course is out, 12 goals, 12 assists, 24 points. That offense is going to have to come from other guys on the roster now. And I look at Donato as a guy who might be able to provide it. 7 goals, 4 assists so far this year. And I keep waiting for Ryan Donato's consistency. That's where Bruins fans will say, that's why we traded him, remember? And I know. I think it's there. It'll show up. On the blue line, Suter, 4 goals, 20 assists, 24 points to lead the blue line. Dumba, 3 goals, 7 assists for him. In net, Stalock, 907 save percentage. Kakkonen, who is back down in the minors, 913 save percentage, and Devin Dubnyk, 891 save percentage overall. I would think Stalock plays here, but we'll see. And there wasn't any confirmation in most of these games because they're tomorrow. So the confirmation will come probably middle of tonight my time or when I get up early. And I'm not doing the review for these games like half an hour before they start. For anybody who wonders why I do this in the middle of the night, it's because a couple years ago when I started doing this, if I started doing a preview while any of these games were on, that preview was dead. That preview was dead for the day. That was that. All right, moving along. At 4 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock Eastern, we get into these games. There's 6 games that start at that time. I believe it's 6. The Nashville Predators, 16-12-6 overall. Over their last 10, they're 5-3-2. On the road, they're now 7-6-2. They're really enjoying this road trip. They are. They're pretty happy about this road trip. And now they go into Boston. Boston's home record is deceptive. We'll get to that. They're overall 21-7-8. 8 loser points. I didn't want to see that. And this hides just how much they're losing games. They're 3-4-3 in their last 10, so they've only won 3 of their last 10. So when they drop in the power rankings tomorrow, I know Boston fans are going to be all mad and downvoty. They haven't played very well for weeks. They're 12-1-7 at home. 12-1-7. That means if it goes to overtime or a shootout, Bruins fans are like, all right, I'm just going to get my coat because we're going to lose. So that's a problem. Overall leading scorers for Nashville among forwards. Yarncroke, 12 goals, 13 assists. Forsberg, 12 goals and 12 assists. Craig Smith stands out as a guy who's hot and cold. 5 goals, 8 assists. Their leading scorers overall are both defensemen. Yossi, 11 goals, 20 assists for 31 points. Ellis, 5 goals, 22 assists for 27 points. I may be known as being a Roman Yossi booster. Save percentages, both Rinne and Saros, 894 save percentage. On the Boston side of things, Marchand leads them in scoring now with 18 goals, 33 assists for 51 points. Pastrnak, 28 goals, 22 assists, 50 points for him. So he's now at 28 goals in 36 games. more realistic total than when he had like what he was on a ridiculous pace. Wagner, 3 goals, 4 assists. He's never going to put up big numbers, but he is a physical force out there for the Boston Bruins. Krug on the blue line, 5 goals, 19 assists, 24 points. He's the leading scoring blue liner. Brandon Carlo, 3 goals and 8 assists on the blue line as well. In net, Halak, a 928 save percentage. Rask with a 922. So the overall numbers would seem to favor Boston. Don't buy it. I don't. I think Nashville could go in tomorrow night against Boston and come out with a healthy result. I debated about whether or not to wear a Nashville jersey for this video because I'm that convinced that Nashville could go in and score what many would see as an upset. But with the way that they're playing right now, I don't think it'd be an upset to see Boston lose this one. That being said, I need to change boards. And next up, we've got Detroit and Toronto. Is this a trap game? Do I need an Akbar magnet? You know what? I'm going to use an Akbar magnet because there is a new Star Wars movie out, and I'll go ahead and say Toronto, who have jumped into a playoff spot with a win tonight, they have got to be careful of this game. Now, they should be, but at the same time, they destroyed Detroit the last time they played them, so who knows, they might take them lightly. So I'll say trap game for this one. We'll see. I'm not thinking, I'm surprised the magnet doesn't just fall right off the board. Detroit is 9-24-3. Akbar's not happy. He's giving me dirty luck. He doesn't want to be on the board. Last 10, they're 2-8, and on the road, they're 4-11-2. Yeah, I know. Just let me get through this. Toronto, 18-14-4 overall over their last 10. They're 6-4. At home, they're 8-4-4, and they're coming off of that win against the Rangers tonight. So against the second half of a back-to-back. Now, scoring leaders, Bertuzzi, 12 goals, 16 assists for 28 points on the Detroit side. Mantha, 12 goals, 12 assists. Notable is Fabry with 9 goals and 7 assists. He obviously hasn't played every game for Detroit. He's been very useful, and it's one of those pickups that I think a year or two down the road we'll be looking back at Yzerman and saying, the guy was really smart picking this guy up. On the blue line, their leading scorer is Hronik with 7 goals, 12 assists. He's quietly having a good year. And Nemeth, a goal and 4 assists. Notable on their blue line. Goaltending, Bernier, 896 save percentage. Howard, 887. Pickard has an 829. Of course, Comrie had that save percentage and moved over to Winnipeg when they waived him. They waived him because Howard's back. Now, I still think Bernier probably plays tomorrow. Now, on the Toronto side, we know it's Hutchinson's game. Might be part of the reason why the Akbar magnet's up there. We'll see how the Toronto Maple Leafs play in front of Hutchinson tonight. Or tomorrow night. Matthews, 21 goals, 17 assists for 38 points, leads them in scoring. He's a pretty good forward. I don't know if you've heard of him. Marner, 8 goals, 20 assists, 28 points. I think I saw an article on Matthews once on a sports site. I'm not sure. Kerfoot, 6 goals, 6 assists. He's having a decent enough year. I'm surprised he's not putting up more points, to which Colorado fans will say, yep. Riley, 3 goals, 20 assists on the blue line, leads them in scoring there. And Justin Hall, 1 goal, 10 assists. Most improved player in the league. Goaltending, Anderson's 919 save percentage will be on the bench. Hutchinson's 876 save percentage will be in net. And Kaskasuo was in the minors with his 847 save percentage in that one start he had for Toronto. This could be a high-scoring game. This could be a very back-and-forth game, and this could be a surprising game at the end of the night. So I'm hoping that Toronto can lock it down, come out, play a really good game at home, win a back-to-back so we can get off of this entire narrative. But at the same time, it's a narrative for a reason because they've struggled with the back-to-backs. So to me, that's why that magnet is justified in being there. We'll see if that's still the case tomorrow night. Next up is Philadelphia in against the Ottawa Senators. And again, all of these games start at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. Philadelphia is 19-11-5 over their last 10. They're 6-4. On the road, they're 7-9-1. So not great. On the Ottawa front, they're 15-18-3. Their last 10, they're 4-4-2. And at home, they're 10-5. That's pretty solid. Now, leading scorers, Konechny, 11 goals, 21 assists for 32 points on the Philadelphia side. Couturier, 9 goals, 19 assists for 28 points. And Chris Stewart, I want to talk about a little bit. He's only got the 1 assist, but what he provides, the physical, the penalty minutes, the toughness, is pretty impressive. So he's been an impressive addition for a Philadelphia team. I don't know what you do with him after this year. I don't know that he comes back next year, but he's adapted to the role that he plays in the National Hockey League right now, and I think he's doing it well enough for the Flyers. Provorov, 8 goals, 14 assists, leads their blue liners, although if Philippe Myers was there all year, he's only played 19 games, 3 goals, 7 assists for 10 points overall. Goaltending, Hart has a .912 save percentage, Elliott has a .904. They have their good games and their bad. We'll see how they do tomorrow night against the Ottawa Senators, who have a leading scorer of Anthony Duclair with 20 goals and 8 assists. It's ridiculous. Pajot, 16 goals, 11 assists. Brady Tkachuk stands out to me as a guy with 12 goals and 8 assists that I keep expecting more from scoring-wise. I'm surprised he's not the one with 20. So, on the blue line, their leading scorer is, of course, Shabbat with 3 goals and 19 assists. Hainsey, 1 goal and 7 assists in net. Hogberg, .906 save percentage. Likely starts tomorrow, I would think. Again, we don't have a confirmation that I've seen. Nilsson, .901 save percentage, but if Anderson's ready to go, Anderson, I would think, would be the starter at .908. It won't be Philip Gustafsson. Can't be Philip Gustafsson. Wouldn't be Philip Gustafsson, the number 4 in the organization, who may be the goalie of the future. I know that's a jinx. But it should be Hogberg, I would think. So, probably as soon as this has gone live, it'll be, oh, no, they've already confirmed. Anyways, next up, Tampa Bay's in against the Washington Capitals. Interesting game. Tampa Bay 17-12-4. Will the real Tampa Bay Lightning finally stand up and show yourselves? Because from game to game, it's impossible to get any kind of read on this team. So that's why they're middle of the road on the power rankings board I'm looking at right here. This is why they end up middle of the road. People say I got them too high. Sometimes people say I got them too low. Now they're middle of the road. They've got to get it better. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. On the road, they're 8-5-2. Washington's now 25-6-5. They're making an embarrassment of the rest of the league. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and at home they're 9-3-4. So the good news for Tampa Bay is Washington's not as good as they are on the road. On the road, they're lethal. Top scorers, Kucherov leads the way for Tampa with 11 goals, 25 assists. Stamkos, 13 goals and 17 assists for him. Maroon stands out as a guy who's very prominent for them. Doesn't necessarily get the points to show it. 5 goals, 7 assists. Hedman's their leading scoring blue liner. 7 goals, 22 assists. McDonough, 1 goal, 8 assists for him. Vasilevsky has a .906 save percentage. McElhinney has an .898 save percentage. So, not great save percentages for Tampa. On the Washington front, Ovechkin, 22 goals, 13 assists, 35 points. I don't know if you've heard of this Ovechkin kid. He's pretty good. So 22 goals for him. He's on pace for about 50. Yeah, just 50. Kuznetsov, 12 goals, 20 assists. He's the second leading scoring forward for them. Hathaway stands out because he makes people angry. 5 goals, 5 assists. And as I say, and I think this is important, it takes a lot of the heat off Tom Wilson. Because now players are mad at more than one guy. So for Wilson, it frees him up a little bit more. 5 goals, 5 assists for Hathaway so far this year. I think Calgary misses him, to be honest. Carlson on the blue line, 13 goals, 34 assists, 47 points. He's been quite the story. Gudas has 9 assists. He has good games and bad as well, but Gudas and Kempny provide something to this blue line that I think gets overlooked too. Holtby has a .909 save percentage. He will be playing tomorrow. Samsonov gets the night off with a .916 save percentage. He played tonight. So Holtby gets a chance to get another win, and they beat Tampa the other night, so we'll see if they're able to do it again. All right, moving along. Florida. So the Panthers coming off of that absolute complete and total destruction of Dallas. They're in against the Carolina Hurricanes, who are pretty happy with their road trip. Wasn't a bad road trip for them overall. Florida's now 17-12-5. Over their last 10, they're 5-5. On the road, they're 6-5-3. So pretty middle of the road overall. But again, coming out of that win tonight over Dallas, we'll see if they can, on the second half of a back-to-back, really push this storyline forward that they're pretty darn good. And for Carolina at 22-11-2 now, their record is excellent. In their last 10, they're 7-2-1, and at home they're 10-5. We would be talking more about Carolina if it wasn't for the fact they have those pesky Capitals and Islanders in their division. That makes it really, really tough not to overlook them on some level. Leading scorers for Florida, Huberdeau, 12 goals, 33 assists for 45 points. Barkov, 11 goals, 28 assists for 39 points. Achari's noteworthy with 11 goals, 3 assists, 14 points. 7 of the 14 points having shown up in his last 2 games. It's ridiculous. Yandel, leading scoring defenseman, 4 goals, 25 assists for him. Weegar, 3 goals, 9 assists for 12 points. Bobrovsky, 902 save percentage. Montembeault, 889. Drieger could very well play here. He has a 942 save percentage in limited appearances. On the Carolina side, Svechnikov, 15 goals, 21 assists for him to lead the team. Teravainen, 7 goals, 28 assists. Niederreiter, 4 goals, 11 assists. He's been heating up. So 15 points doesn't sound like a lot, but he has been heating up lately. Hamilton leads the blue line in scoring still. 12 goals, 22 assists, 34 points. Pesce, 3 goals, 7 assists. Very underrated performer for the Carolina Hurricanes. Goaltenders, Reimer with a .927 save percentage and Mrazek with a .906. I would think you go with Mrazek. You can go with Reimer. Reimer played for Florida last year, so it might be interesting to play him against his former team. Either way you go. Good chance for Carolina in this one. So I'm wearing Carolina, but this is a tough one. Honestly, this is a tough one to call because Carolina off of a long road trip, they could absolutely have a letdown tomorrow night. But we'll see what happens. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, New Jersey's in against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And so here we've got 2 more. So 1, 5, 6. There's 7 that start at the same time. It's going to be one of those nights tomorrow night where I do the review and I'm going to get, why aren't you talking about this play? Probably didn't see it. That's going to happen tomorrow. New Jersey and Columbus might be easy for this game to get lost in the shuffle because both of them are sitting pretty far out of the playoffs. Being in the Metro does that. Now, for New Jersey, they're 11, 18, and 5, so they're not storming down the doors of even a 500 record right now. Over their last 10, they're 2, 7, and 1. Road record is 6 and 10. It's overall a pretty poor picture for New Jersey, but they've won 2 out of 3, and we'll see what they can do tomorrow night against Columbus, who have been playing better lately, but they're 15, 14, and 6. Over their last 10, they're 4, 4, and 2. At home, they're 10, 8, and 1. Overall, it's all pretty mediocre, on pace for about 85 points on the season, which would be okay. Shouldn't have any problem with keeping Tortorella around for another year, but likely not playoffs either. Scoring leaders for New Jersey, Palmieri, 14 goals, 8 assists for 22 points. Hischier, 6 goals and 12 assists. Noteworthy is Simmons with 4 goals and 8 assists. Simmons is noteworthy because he doesn't want to leave. He's already gone to management and said, look, I don't want to leave as a rental. I want to stay here for the year. He wants to be part of the solution. Now, if I was Ray Shero, I'd sit down and go, all right, so do you want to talk about an extension? And then you might bring up his numbers and maybe you can get him to sign for a little less if he's willing to extend his time now. Because otherwise, as admirable as it is that he wants to stick around, you'd probably be better off moving him as a piece at the deadline that you can get something back for. On the blue line, Votanen's their leading scorer with 5 goals, 9 assists. Severson, 3 goals, 5 assists. I keep waiting for more offense from him. In net, Blackwood, 906 save percentage. He'll likely play again tomorrow. Sen now has a 667 save percentage, saved 2 out of 3, only faced 3 shots. Demang, 862. Schneider, 852. Is it the goaltending? Is it the defense? You guys can decide. On the Columbus side of things, Nyquist leads them. 8 goals, 17 assists. Dubois, 12 goals and 12 assists. Riley Nash, 2 goals, 5 assists. I keep waiting for more offense from him as well. On the blue line, Werenski, 7 goals and 11 assists to lead their blue line. And Ryan Murray, 2 goals, 5 assists, one of the most underrated defensemen in the league overall. Korpisalo, 909 save percentage. He's been better than that save percentage would tell you. Merzlikins, 889 save percentage. It's started to get kind of ugly with Merzlikins. And this is something that I said over the summer. Like, I wasn't confident in this goaltending duo. A lot of people said, no, Elvis has good numbers in Europe. Good numbers in Europe don't always translate over to the NHL, whether it's skaters or goaltenders. And right now, it definitely looks like Columbus needs to figure out some kind of a goaltending fix if they're going to make a run. If they're bound and determined they're going to make a run. Now, if Jarmo Kekalainen's looking at this lineup and going, well, we're not going to win anyways, then don't worry about it. Just leave it as it is. All right, moving along. Montreal is in Edmonton. So for the Oilers, bad news. Montreal's been playing better. They're feeling better. They beat Vancouver, they beat Calgary, and now they're trying to beat Edmonton. And there's going to be a lot of Oiler fans that all of a sudden become Canadian fans for tomorrow night for that one night, and other Canadian fans that come in for that one night. It's going to feel like it's a home game for the Canadiens if they get up early. Montreal's now 17, 12, and 6. The record's getting better. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They're 9-4-3 on the road. They like playing on the road. Whereas the Oilers, they're now 19, 15, and 4. They've now won half of their games. We're starting to see them falling back. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10. They're 3-8-1 in their last 12. They're 8-7-3 at home, so they've won less than half of their home games. This is becoming a troubling trend. and now Montreal's coming in feeling good about themselves. Tatar leads the team in scoring with 13 goals, 17 assists for 30 points, and Gallagher 15 goals, 13 assists for 28 points. There is no one player in Montreal that if you shut him down, you're going to win. They have a scoring by committee, which is really a popular thing with some teams now that are pretty good, like, for instance, Arizona and the Islanders. Cousins, 5 goals, 7 assists. He's been really, really good for Montreal when they're winning. He's been pretty solid forward for them. Weber, of course, leads their defenseman in scoring with 11 goals, 18 assists. Sherratt, 4 goals, 8 assists. He's had a tremendous start for them. Primo, 931 save percentage. He's back in the minors. Price, 907 save percentage. He'll play tomorrow. They haven't confirmed it yet, but he will. Kincaid, of course, is in the minors with an 875 save percentage. On the Edmonton side, of course, McDavid, 20 goals, 39 assists for 59 points. Did not get a point tonight. Neither did Draisaitl, who has 21 goals, 37 assists for 58 points. So it's interesting in that their scoring has really fallen off now, and it's not a coincidence that that's happened, and over their last 12 games, they've won 3. And the frustration is really starting to show on the faces of the Oilers. They're really having a hard time. So again, if Montreal can jump on them early, this could get ugly. Chason, 4 goals, 8 assists. Notable as a scorer of 20 goals last year and only 4 so far this year. Clefbaum, 3 goals, 19 assists on the blue line. Adam Larson, 16 games, only 1 assist, and I think he's a -8. A lightning rod for a lot of frustrated fans, and I don't necessarily blame them right now either. And I like Larson, but right now I can't really justify that with any numbers I can find. Koskinen has a 919 save percentage. He'll play. Smith played tonight. He's down to an 893 save percentage. Smith's been really struggling, and it is really hurting their overall game. So early in the year, everybody talked about how great Smith was and how foolish the Flames looked for giving him up. And right now, Talbot's numbers have been better lately than Smith's. So that's an interesting comparison as well. And as the Battle of Alberta just turns weird this year with these guys switching spots, and they're not the only ones that switch spots. There's the James Neal for Lucic part 2. And Neal's defensive numbers have been pretty much a nightmare 5-on-5 too. So the Oilers have some stuff to work on. All right, moving along. Chicago. So the Blackhawks have to go into Colorado again. This is the 4th and final meeting between these teams. And for Chicago, at the end of tomorrow night, it's going to be, thank God, we don't have to see them again. Colorado has feasted on the Blackhawks through 3 meetings so far this year. The Hawks are 14, 16, and 6. Over their last 10, they're 4, 5, and 1. On the road, they're 6, 8, and 3. Kane, 19 goals, 25 assists, 44 points, is of course their leader in Chicago. DeBrincat, 8 goals, 17 assists. That 8 goals just throws me off. There's 36 games on 8 goals. Doc, 5 goals, 5 assists. His offense has fallen off as well. But it looks like he's there to stay for the rest of the year, I guess. We'll see. Because when you pass that 40-game mark, that's when you're starting to give up a year of restricted free agency. And that's where teams start saying, maybe we should send this guy down. Gustafsson, 4 goals, 10 assists, leads their blue liners. Seabrook with 3 goals and an assist. He's obscure again. Leonard, 927 save percentage. Crawford has a 909 save percentage. I don't know who to expect in net. I would think Leonard. Crawford got whooped by him last time. I guess Leonard will go in. That'll be my guess anyways. And I don't mean whooped like in a bad way. Just Crawford probably doesn't want to see them again right now. McKinnon, 21 goals, 32 assists for 53 points. He's been fantastic. Hart Trophy. People talk a lot about the Hart Trophy and all the trophies that a guy could win. I honestly think McKinnon's the Hart Trophy winner if you're voting right now, but that's me. Donskoy, 13 goals, 14 assists. He's been pretty good. Pretty good. And Belmar, 4 goals, 6 assists. Nice depth addition for the Colorado Avalanche. Really smart team building that went on with Colorado over the last couple of years, and it's worthy of note in this video. Makar, 8 goals, 20 assists, 28 points, and when he's healthy and he's scoring again, we will be back to talking about how fantastic a rookie this kid is. Gerard, 1 goal, 12 assists. Gerard into DeBrincat. Here we go again. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. I think the Gerard fine in part was because of the incident, and I think in part it was, don't start this crap. We don't need this back and forth. Knock it off. Now, goaltending numbers, Francouz, 934 save percentage. He's been excellent. Grubauer, 915 save percentage. And of course, Werner came up and had a 914 save percentage briefly. Bibo played as well, had an 881 save percentage. They've already gone through 4 goaltenders, which is one of the higher numbers in the league. We'll see if anybody gets anywhere close to the number that Philadelphia had last year. I'm not thinking that'll happen, but we just never know. We didn't think Philadelphia was going to need that many at the start of last year either. So, that being said, I want to take a quick look at the playoff picture. Nothing really has changed recently, although Colorado would now play Detroit. The Arizona Coyotes would play Dallas, not Detroit, Dallas, and Arizona would play Winnipeg. Now, Montreal and Toronto are matched up right now. If the playoffs started right now, and Buffalo's been bumped back out. And then the worst thing for Buffalo is right now they're also behind Florida. So they've gone from second in the division to fifth, and they now have two teams they have to pass. Now again, we're only not even halfway through the season, but it's worthy of note just how crazy and volatile that Atlantic division really is. So you can't really take a night off right now, because if you do, you're probably going to end up outside the playoff picture, at least temporarily. That being said, I need to change boards one last time. All right, here we go. Pittsburgh's in against Vancouver. This is one that scares me. So 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. It scares me because they went in and they beat the Oilers tonight. They didn't really need Malkin to do it. They're still without Crosby. They're still without Hornqvist is still out. They're still without a lot of guys. And they're still getting it done. And they're in against a Vancouver team tomorrow night that has its defensive deficiencies. Pittsburgh feasts on that. Pittsburgh now has a record of 21-10-4. They're winning too much. I said that going into today's game. It didn't matter. They just keep winning. They won 4 in a row now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 7-6-2 on the road, so they've taken the road record and made it better thanks to this Western Canada trip. This is like the third year in a row the Western Canada trip's been pretty good for them. On the Vancouver front, they're 17-15-4 overall. In their last 10, they're 5-5, and at home they're 9-5-3. So Vancouver, they're not in the playoffs right now. I don't see them as a playoff team at the end of the year either. It's not a skies falling kind of thing. It's just I look at the teams ahead of them and I go, they're probably better teams. But we'll see, right? We still got a ton of games left to go. Scoring leaders for Pittsburgh, Gensel, 17 goals, 19 assists. He's a pretty good player. And Malkin, 9 goals, 21 assists for 30 points. Aston Reese, 4 goals and 5 assists. Good depth performance from this guy tonight. He got a couple of helpers. I've always thought Aston Reese had more offensive upside. We'll see if he continues this. If this becomes a hot streak or if it's just one good game against Edmonton offensively. Scoring leader on the blue line, of course, is Letang. 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. Pettersson, 1 goal, 12 assists for him. He had 2 helpers tonight. We'll see if he keeps it up against the other Pettersson. They're not related. Jari, 939 save percentage, played tonight. Maybe they play Murray tomorrow night. 897 save percentage, back half of a back-to-back, and it's against a non-playoff team. Murray might be the guy to play. On the Vancouver front, Pettersson is leading them in scoring. Elias, pretty good player, 16 goals, 21 assists, coming off of a 2-goal performance against Vegas. Brock Besser, 12 goals, 22 assists, 34 points. If you get focused on Besser not scoring as many goals this year, the narrative is being lost. The Besser narrative is exactly the same as Laine's, and he's actually got 2 more points than Laine overall. Besser's passing has been really, really solid. He's controlling the puck well. He's seeing the net pretty well. It's just a matter of time till those goals start going in again. Dominic, I almost said it again. Antoine Roussel. Dominic Roussel, I already did a video on him. He's a goaltender from the 90s. Antoine Roussel, 8 games played, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points, and he almost had a goal last night after that first one too. So he's playing pretty darn well. On the blue line, Quinn Hughes, 2 goals, 24 assists, leads the blue liners. His -8 is troubling. His defensive game is but the whole defense has been kind of a mess. Tanev, 2 goals, 8 assists. That second goal was a beauty last night in overtime. So we'll see what he can do to follow that up. Might want to try him at forward for a while with that. Get him off that miserable blue line. Markstrom's got a .914 save percentage. He'll play until Demko's back from concussion. .906 save percentage for Demko. DiPietro in the one limited appearance, .857 save percentage. DiPietro won't go in unless he has to. I don't see him going in otherwise. All right, moving along. Last game of the night is the St. Louis Blues in against the San Jose Sharks. The Blues are 22-8-6. They're pretty happy right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. On the road, they're 10-4-3. Yeah, they're the best team in the West in all likelihood. You could make the argument for Colorado. You could make the argument for the Blues. I'm looking straight over at the power rankings board while I say it. Who's higher in the power rankings? You'll have to find out tomorrow night. But yeah, so St. Louis, pretty darn good team, playing well. I don't know if you heard, they won the Stanley Cup this year. Kind of fun. On the San Jose front, they're 16-18-2 over their last 10. They're 3-6-1. And at home, they're 10-9. It's been a miserable, again, run for the San Jose Sharks. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, bad, good, bad, good. It's a really schizophrenic team. Perron, 15 goals, 19 assists for 34 points, leads the Blues. O'Reilly, 6 goals, 26 assists, 32 points. Sundqvist has 9 goals and 7 assists, 16 points. I want to mention Sundqvist for this reason. Sundqvist is known for hits that are borderline. Takes a hit last night a couple nights ago that Blues fans felt was borderline. And it came across that maybe I didn't like Sundqvist. I like Sundqvist, but I also understand that there are fans that feel some of the hits he throws are borderline. And so when he takes a hit like the one he did the other night, there are fans who will say, borderline hitter takes a borderline hit. Happens. And Oiler fans would counter with it wasn't really. And again, this is just that narrative we have every season, numerous times with players. I like Sundqvist. I think he provides a little bit of everything. I think he's a 20-goal scorer. And I think, he can provide that kind of offense when guys get hurt. And he is, I don't know that he ever gets a captaincy or even an alternate captaincy, but he's kind of an emotional guy on the ice, and I think he's good for rallying the troops. Petrangelo's the leading scoring defenseman, 7 goals, 17 assists. Vince Dunn, 5 goals and 5 assists, has had a pretty good year. In net, Binnington, 920 save percentage, and Jake Allen's 930. I saw it coming out of the St. Louis victory over Edmonton. A lot of people online saying, Edmonton's so bad they can't even beat the backup in St. Louis. Does anybody understand how well Jake Allen's been playing this year? Yeah, anyways. It's one of those things that I see online and I go, wait, do you know how well Jake Allen's playing? Does anybody understand Jake Allen? And there were a bunch of likes for that comment, and I'm like, but they're wrong because Jake Allen's playing really well. Anyways, Allen's beaten some teams, and I wouldn't be surprised if he plays tomorrow night in San Jose because Allen's been excellent on the road. Now, Couture's the leading scorer for San Jose with 11 goals, 31 assists, 21 assists for 32 points. Hurdle, 14 goals, 14 assists for 28 points. Sorensen stands out to me as a guy that needs to be producing more. 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. He's got the talent. And he's got that wonderful flow. Put them together, go out there and get some points. Erik Karlsson, 3 goals, 23 assists, leads their blue line in points with 26. Even so, that's a disappointing total by his standards. Brendan Dillon, 1 goal, 7 assists for him. Good physical defenseman. There's some suspect parts of his game defensively, but you know what? It's fine. Jones, 888 save percentage. I've discussed this many times. 888 kind of says it all. Dell, 895 save percentage. Jones is playing tomorrow night. So they've given Jones about a week off. They've worked with him. They've had Evgeny Nabokov working with him on his game. We'll see how he does tomorrow night against the defending Stanley Cup champions. And that'll be your last game of the night, as it is at 7:30 my time, 10:30 Eastern. You guys are all caught up. Let me know your thoughts, your winners, and all that in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for your time, your attention, your likes and subscriptions. I will talk to you again soon.